Pardon? They accept the video call. When? Mr. Kim, it's just a contract marriage. When gulped down as she felt nervous, feeling the butterflies in stomach. They, okay, I will only sign these papers if you personally come. When? You are trying to invite controversy in your life. They, so what? When? Mr. Kim, how can I have your appointment then? They, so you're coming. When? My mother used to say to obey husband. They, stop being sarcastic, Van. Just call me after reaching my office. Van, how about this? If I give you a condition that if you don't come yourself to receive me, I will not step inside high building. But I won't give you that option. Van was in the car. She looked outside the window. She has never regretted, though she had failed several times in life, but at this point she felt tired. She almost lost the mentality to start from scratch again, and the giant high building was visible. The car stopped in front of the main gate of the building. At this point, she was hesitant to call him. She felt her feet wobbly as her legs almost refused to step out of the car. She quietly stepped inside the high building but didn't call Tay. She didn't want to present the nervous version of herself as she had already portrayed herself as a rebellious brat. At the lounge area, she took a seat. Miss Lee Wen. Wen was startled as she heard her name. May I know who are you? She politely asked. The man smiled. Ma'am, that's the elevator to 19th floor. Wen blankly looked at the elevator. So, Mr. Kim is waiting for you in the elevator since morning. The reception area is too crowded today, the man informed. And don't worry, your father, Mr. Lee, is in the office. Mr. Kim personally invited him. She was surprised as she heard that her father was invited by none other than Mr. Kim Tae-hung and was also present in the high building. Welcome, Miss Van. The old man Lee used his iconic sarcastic tone to welcome his own daughter. Though Van felt humiliated in front of those familiar and unfamiliar people, but she didn't reply. In contrast, they were surprised seeing Mr. Lee, whom he had never heard speak in such humiliating tone. So, you are pitying me, young Lee? The old man uttered while gesturing to take a seat. Wen still refused to utter a single word, but she raised her eyebrows, forming a prominent frown. I just wanted to see you settled in life. Wen, I never wanted you to sacrifice your career or your passion. I am and I had always been very proud of your each and every achievement. The old man almost choked. Wan's eyes were fixed on her father. She didn't even flinch, yet didn't utter a single word. Mr. Lee, am I not eligible to be your son-in-law? They spoke as he saw Wan's red cheeks. My point is, she is Lee Wan. I wanted to make my only child's wedding so grand that the whole world would get to know. The old man sighed. Now look, I am not even informed by my only heirs. You invited me. I thought about it, but last night I got home very late, and by that time, Dad, you were asleep, so I didn't disturb you. she uttered. Taehyung, just sign those papers. I don't want to hear a single word from someone who didn't even need to inform me anything. And getting an invitation from her. I actually don't dream anymore. Disappointment was evident in the old man's voice. Taehyung didn't want to fuel the conflict between the father daughter. He quietly signed the papers. When, my daughter, tell me the truth. You and you probably don't even know each other's existence a few days ago. Is it a contract marriage? The old man looked at his daughter with teary eyes. Yes, she silently broke down. Personally, I love him like a child. Probably half a year. You are going to be in this compulsive relationship, both of you. Try your best to respect each other. The old man looked at them with his experienced blurry eyes. As the papers were passed to Van, she signed them without wasting a single moment as she wanted to escape from that room. They, you shouldn't neglect your practice sessions. Work hard, probably. I won't be in this world when the Bangtan would start their world tour again. The old man sadly smiled. Dad, Van almost whimpered. That was enough for today, please. I beg you. I will declare that Kim Tae-hyung has bought the Lee mansion. If your daily commute to his house begins, it will not be hidden to the public eye and will definitely be quite damaging to his career, Mr. Lee added. This news would crash the internet today. Van, I would suggest you to go to your husband's apartment to bring his daily use of things, Mr. Lee sighed. A girl who sacrifices her entire career and comes back overnight from abroad. I don't believe she would be willing to leave her sick father's side. Money is powerful, but at a certain stage, you just feel powerless. In spite of being wealthy, the old man left the room. After a few moments, only Van and Taehyung was left inside the room. Van, he called her by her name. Hmm? How is your baby sister? She replied in a tone that sounded just artificial to pretend nothing happened. Fine, he hummed. I will go to the hospital at the visiting hours. She was about to leave when she felt a warm grip on her wrist. I'm sorry, I wasn't aware of the whole situation. He just pulled her into his embrace. He kept patting on her back until the shivering feminine body in his embrace sobbed her heart out. She snorted before withdrawing her body from The's embrace. So, please inform your house help to prepare your luggage. I will go myself to pick that up from your apartment. I don't have any house help. I barely live in my apartment, they answered. Then your things are probably with you? She wondered. But they shook his head in denial. I rehearse here only. This is my workplace. I don't live here, though I spend most of the time in a day here. Okay. She took a pen and paper. Can you make a diagram of your apartment structure and make a list of things? Don't forget to point out from which room, which cabinet, which cupboard. She handed him those stationery supplies. I haven't made any rule or recited where I have put the laundry. I mean, which cupboard and stuff like that. He casually shrugged his shoulders. Van, get ready for a sting operation. She sighed. At least you can make the list. They nodded. Won't it be convenient to message you the list? Probably. She agreed and took her bag when she heard his tummy growling. Have some food. They looked at the ceiling of the room for a few seconds and sighed. I'm craving. No, I'm on diet. Have a good day. She waved before leaving the room. It was around 9 o'clock in the night. The internet was crashed as Mr. Lee had declared about Lee Mansion being partially gifted to Taehyung. The company of the idol has also released a statement that Taehyung might start living in that mansion. They didn't respond any of the incoming call, but when he saw an incoming call from a familiar number, he finally answered the call. 여보세요? Hi. She sighed in relief. I'm outside your apartment and I don't have any key or the passcode. Oh, they sounded a little disappointed. It's my birthday, 6 digits, date, month, year order. Wen had saw his DOB on the documents, but still she preferred to double check. She searched in the internet and pressed the passcode. No one but Taehyung knew what it costs to be exposed in the internet. He respected her decision. Why don't you stay there tonight? Can I use your... Wen was interrupted by Tae. It's attached to the master bedroom. Can I use your kitchen? She corrected him. There is nothing except expired milk in the fridge. They casually stated, and just at that moment the reality hit him. Van, give me half an hour, please, as my wedding gift. He put on the overcoat and hurried. He knew no one but only him can stop the storm. He faced the reporters the way Bangtan faces and requested to respect his privacy. Most of the things were sorted out except Van's hunger. 여보세요. Van received the incoming call. Outside the apartment, open the door after I press the doorbell. They told her in a soft tone. You can just enter. Van was about to tell him the reality when the doorbell rang. Wait a second. She unlocked the door from inside. You took more than 1 second, they chuckled. I brought something. Van was sitting on the couch, folding her legs. The moment she saw the food packets and as the strong smell hit her nostrils, she almost lost her balance, as her stomach was still empty. Follow me. They put the packets in the dining table and started unwrapping. Why didn't you eat yesterday? The day before yesterday, when I got to know about Dad's situation, everything became upside down. I lost my appetite, but now, after 2 days, I think my body can't tolerate this anymore. Van surrendered. Maybe because everything is sorted now? They casually added. Haven't you seen Dad's temper? He is consciously messing up things to avoid the treatment. Van was looking at those dishes as Taehyung hadn't pointed out which one was her portion of food. Taehyung started digging in as he thought Van was waiting for him. Eat? You haven't eaten for almost 2 days. And finally, Van took the first bite. I can feel the sugar spikes, the energy. When ask for anything as your wedding gift. Sun, moon, anything. They casually stuffed food into his mouth. Now, when asked, definitely I can't gift you right now as I'm not carrying the original ones in my pocket, but still, ask for anything now. They tried to lighten up the atmosphere. Why? At least give me a good reason. Van kept eating the food. Because this is a contract marriage and we should not owe each other, yet must try to help each other whenever needed, they justified. Then, can you? When paused as she didn't want to show her vulnerable side. They understood. He offered her a glass of water. Have it. You will feel better. Please try to reschedule your tour before Dad's journey completes. Please. The fabric of the tablecloth was stained by her teardrops. Taehyung was surprised seeing the girl. She was straightforward, rude to him, but for her dad, she was ready to accept anything, sacrifice anything. They knew Wen was hurt. In spite of loving the old man unconditionally, her brain just couldn't ignore the words that her father told in the morning. Hiding her face, she raised her little finger, gesturing as she needed to use the washroom. Please, she uttered, and the whole apartment was filled with the sound of a sob. She cried her heart out. She stopped herself from being aware of his existence or her own actions in his apartment. After some time, when she was quite calmed down, heard a knock on the washroom door. After washing her face with tap water, she finally opened the door of the washroom. Sorry. Her voice cracked. They wanted to react but couldn't because he didn't know how to react. You had a hectic day. You should rest. He spoke in a calmed, husky tone. Wen silently nodded and looked at him with red, puffy eyes as she hadn't explored his apartment yet, so she didn't know where to rest. I can't let you use the guest room. It belongs to the matinee. He would kill me. So let's share this supersized bed. They used the same husky yet calmed tone. Neither one was in the mood to argue with him, nor she had the energy. So she just lied down on the bed. They looked at her. She was neither excited nor nervous. She was looking pale, blank, tired, exhausted. Particularly, his bride showed no feelings on their first night. He knew her side of story, yet he wasn't ready to sacrifice his happiness. Van? He called her name but got no response. Kim Van? He tried to tease her. She didn't even hum in response, just closed her eyes. The trail of dried tears were moistened by the fresh trails of tears as she closed her eyes. They could feel her pain. He had suffered a lot in his life, and whenever he had touched his bottom, hopefully there was 6 other strong men who rescued him from those dark phases. From some untold unknown reason, they just felt responsible to save her from that situation, yet another part of his brain kind of provoked him. I will definitely make you fall in love with me. Definitely, his male ego was hurt, but his perception of getting married was changed. His idea of romance had always been physical touch, but on the first night of his contract marriage, he felt the responsibility of getting married. He lied down beside her. Her exhausted body had already given up. She was looking innocent while sleeping. Van, Kim Van. I would consider myself truly lucky if I could be a father to a daughter like you. Girls are really amazing. As a mother, a woman can do anything for her child. Likewise, daughters can stand up for their parents and fight relentlessly in critical moments. They chuckled as he thought of himself. He had thought to give up many times, but he never thought to sacrifice his career for any other person. To him, what the girl had done was glorious. He sighed and finally closed his eyes. The next morning, obviously as a healthy young man, they woke up earlier and found Van in his embrace. Did I really consider her as my side pillow? His sleepy mind was totally blown, and as he initiated to withdraw himself, he found her grip on the fabric of his shirt. He was feeling more relaxed after the uninterrupted full night's sleep. Yet, Van was still sleeping silently. He could feel the peace in the atmosphere. Probably it was the cold air. As they tried to withdraw himself, the cold air touched her skin. So, for the warmth, she crawled into his embrace. They looked at the big wall clock. It was early morning, so he decided to stay in bed for some more time. He had to leave his home to fulfill his dream, but for the first time, he felt the apartment turning into a home as she did so. He silently chuckled as she felt what does the word peace feels like. When Van opened her eyes, she found herself alone in the huge bed. There was no trace of Taehyung in the apartment. As she checked the time, it was already 9 o'clock in the morning. She was about to get up when she noticed a handwritten note on the side table. Rest well. I have a scheduled meeting with Mr. Lee. I have prepared the breakfast. Kim Wan, you better have your breakfast or you have to give a proper explanation to your husband. Indeed, she thought it was childish, but she liked